The Light of Truth, Story of Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S. Welcome to my channel. This is not just a story. This is a journey of knowledge, patience, and truth. Glowing Star Part 1. Born in Medina. In the blessed city of Medina, a child was born. A child whose wisdom would one day change the world. He was Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S. the grandson of Imam Hussein ibn Ali, A.S. and the son of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, A.S. From a young age, people noticed something special. His words carried depth. His silence carried meaning. The ocean of knowledge. As he grew, Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S. became known as Sadiq, the truthful. Thousands traveled from distant lands just to sit in his gatherings. Among his students was the famous scholar Abu Hanifa. He later said, "I have never seen anyone more knowledgeable than Jafar ibn Muhammad." Imam A.S. taught more than religion. He spoke about science, logic, philosophy, and human behavior. He didn't just give answers. He taught people how to seek truth themselves. Standing against power. This was a time of political tension. The rulers of the Abbasid Caliphate feared knowledge that could awaken people. Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S. was loved by the people. And that made him dangerous in the eyes of rulers. But he never bowed to power. Even when called to royal courts. Even when questioned and watched. He stood firm. His strength was not in weapons, but in truth. Trials, patience, and strength. His life was full of trials. He lived under constant pressure. Spies watched him, enemies tried to silence him. Yet, he never stopped teaching. He once said, "The strongest among you is the one who controls anger." Even in hardship, he remained calm. Even in pain, he guided others. A legacy beyond time. Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S. did not leave behind wealth. He left behind knowledge. His teachings became the foundation of the Jafari school of thought, followed by millions across the world today. He built hearts. He built minds. He built a legacy that time could never erase. Emotional ending. Today, centuries have passed, but his light still shines. His life teaches us. Checkmark speak the truth, even if it's difficult. Checkmark seek knowledge, even if it's hard. Checkmark stay patient, even when tested. Right finger, and by the end of this story, something inside you changes. The silence that shook empires. Previously, a man of truth rose in the city of Medina. A teacher, a guide, a light in the darkness. But now, the world around him was changing. The gathering storm. The rulers of the Abbasid Caliphate had begun to tighten their grip. Whispers spread through the streets. Too many people follow him. His knowledge is too powerful. In the royal palace, fear grew stronger than authority. Because there was one truth they could not control. Right finger people loved Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S., not out of fear, but out of respect. The summons. One day, a message arrived. The Imam was summoned to the court of the powerful ruler Al-Mansur. This was no ordinary invitation. It was a test, a trap, a moment where truth would face power. The court was filled with scholars, ministers, and guards. All eyes were on one man. As Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S., entered, there was no fear in his steps. No hesitation in his eyes. Only calm, only dignity. Truth versus authority. Al-Mansur tried to challenge him. He asked difficult questions. He tried to trap him with words. But every answer from the Imam was clear, deep, undeniable. Silence filled the court. Even the greatest scholars present were left speechless. Because knowledge like this could not be defeated. Al-Mansur realized something terrifying. Right finger, you can control armies. Right finger, you can control wealth. But you cannot control truth. The hidden war. After that day, the pressure increased. Spies surrounded the Imam's home. Friends were questioned, students were watched, but something incredible happened. The more they tried to silence him, the more his message spread. People came in secret, at night, in silence, just to hear a few words from him. And those few words were enough to change lives forever. The pain of leadership. Being a leader was not easy. He carried the pain of his. He saw injustice, oppression, fear. Yet he could not fight with swords. Because his mission was greater. He was building something deeper than kingdoms. Right finger, he was building minds that could never be enslaved. A lesson that echoes forever. One night, a student asked, "Master, how do we survive in a world full of oppression?" The Imam looked at him and said, "Be like the sun. Even when hidden, it still gives light." That one sentence became a lifetime lesson. Final scene. The light that cannot be extinguished. Years passed, empires rose and fell, Kings came and disappeared, but the name of Imam Jafar Sadiq, A.S., remained stronger than ever, because power fades, but truth lives on. Ending, deep emotional outro. Today, if you listen carefully, you can still hear his message. Checkmark seek knowledge, no matter the cost. Checkmark stand for truth, even if you stand alone. Checkmark be patient, because Allah sees everything. Right finger and maybe, just maybe, this story was not just about him. It was meant to awaken something inside you. The final light. Previously, a man stood against power. Not with a sword, but with truth. But now, the story reaches its most painful chapter. The fear of truth. The ruler Al-Mansur could no longer ignore the growing influence of the Imam. Every day, more hearts turned toward him. Every day, his words spread further. And with that, fear turned into a decision. A dark one. Right finger, silence him, once and for all. The poisoned silence. It did not happen on a battlefield. There were no swords, no armies. Only betrayal, hidden in silence. The Imam was poisoned. Slowly, painfully, the one who healed hearts was now suffering in silence. But even in that moment, there was no complaint on his lips. No anger, no hatred, only patience. The final moments. As his condition worsened, his family gathered around him. The room was filled with tears. But the Imam remained calm. His face carried, even in pain, he gave his final advice. Hold on to truth, no matter how difficult it becomes. These were not just words. They were a legacy. A departure that shook hearts. And then, the moment came. Silently, peacefully, the light of this world returned to its creator. In the blessed land of Medina, the voice of truth became silent. But only in this world. Because in reality, right finger that voice would echo forever. After the silence, the streets felt empty, the gatherings felt incomplete, students wept, followers felt lost, but something strange happened. The more people remembered him, the stronger his message became. Because truth does not die. Final scene. The eternal legacy. Years turned into centuries, empires vanished, rulers were forgotten, but one name remained alive. Imam Jafar Sadiq. A.S. Not because of power, but because of truth. Not because of wealth, but because of knowledge. Ultimate ending. Emotional outro. Today, if you search for guidance, if you seek truth, if you want to understand patience, you will still find him. In his words, in his teachings, in his legacy. Checkmark he taught us how to live. Checkmark he taught us how to stand. Checkmark he taught us how to remain strong, even in silence. Right finger and now the question is, will we just hear his story, or will we follow his path?